What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. There's a lot of cards in Hearthstone that aren't very good against most decks, but they really help your matchup against specific individual decks. These cards are often referred to as tech cards or tech choices. A good example of something like this is Kazan Mystic, since against many decks, it's just a 4 mana 4/3, but against classes that have secrets, it can often be the difference between winning and losing. In this series, we'll be letting you know how the standard meta is going and picking a tech card for each video that's well positioned against many of the popular decks in the current meta. Today, we'll be talking about everyone's favorite explorer, Harrison Jones. Harrison has a high payoff against weapon classes, and with all the warrior, shaman, hunter, and rogue going around in the current meta, it's a great card to be playing right now. And as always, if you guys enjoy the video, definitely hit that like button, and if you don't enjoy the video, do hit that dislike. Now, first let's pretend that Harrison didn't have any abilities and was just a vanilla 5 mana 5/4 creature. This will give us a good idea of how bad the card actually is when played against classes without weapons, and therefore how much of a sacrifice we're making by including it in our deck. 5 mana for 5/4 is of course not that great, but it's not the worst stat distribution ever. We see cards with similar stat lines like Booty Bay Bodyguard or Blackwing Corruptor be reasonable in Arena even when their ability text is marginal. 5 power allows for Harrison to trade with many other creatures around his mana cost in Standard, and can potentially even let him trade up with some of the more popular 6 drops like Emperor Tharson and Sylvanas Windrunner. 5 power also allows Harrison to pressure your opponent's life total at a pretty reasonable pace if you are the aggressor. 4 health isn't necessarily fantastic, but it is a big step up from 3 health, as it does prevent Harrison from dying to 3 power creatures or 3 damage removal cards, which are very popular 2 drops right now. Harrison is probably the worst card against Druid, as it trades unfavorably with Druid of the Claw, and it dies super easily to Swipe or Wrath plus a hero power. Next, let's talk about what the payoff is on Harrison, and to do so we have to talk a little bit about weapons. Weapons are a way to trade life total for board control and card advantage in the simplest sense. For example, Fiery War Axe allows you to kill 2 of your opponent's early game minions in exchange for some life total and 2 mana. You're killing 2 of your opponent's cards for the price of 1 and keeping their board clear. More expensive weapons like Doomhammer or Gorehowl allow you to clear even more minions of course, or more expensive minions, or sometimes even just pressure your opponent's life total to deal lethal. The first part of Harrison's ability destroys an opponent's weapon, so naturally that would mean it takes away all of the value that weapons give, which we just went over. However, people often will use a charge of their weapon the turn that they equip it, meaning that Harrison usually only takes part of this value when played the turn after a weapon is equipped. This is still pretty good, as it will still usually save 1 or more of your minions or stop your opponent from pressuring your life total. The second part of Harrison's ability draws cards equal to the charges on the weapon he destroyed. While the number of cards drawn with Harrison of course depends on the situation, refilling your hand is very powerful, and so both halves of Harrison's ability are high value. When Harrison works, he gives you an incredible amount of advantages. Now, in order to actually see how strong Harrison Jones is, we need to talk about the current meta and how likely Harrison is to actually get some value. Warrior is probably the best class in the game right now, with a variety of top tier decks and pretty much all of the tier lists. You've got Control Warrior, Tempo Warrior, Cthulhu Warrior, and even Pirate Warrior too, are all heavily played on ladder at pretty much every rank across the board right now. Since no warrior would be a warrior without his weapon, all of these decks play a significant amount of equipment cards. Possible targets can include Fiery War Axe, Gorehowl, assorted buffed weapons in Pirate Warrior, and any weapon in the game since Tempo Warrior plays Malkarok. Harrison is a fantastic card against the warrior class and will often just significantly put you ahead, and warrior does make up for a huge chunk of the metagame right now. Moving on, we also have aggro shaman and mid-range shaman, who are also top tier decks on the ladder right now, and both of those decks play Doomhammer. Harrisoning a Doomhammer the turn after it's played prevents up to 12 damage, or 24 if you potentially consider some rock biters, and it actually draws you 6 cards, which is just about as game winning as it gets. Harrison Jones can single-handedly win the game by itself against a shaman deck. Mid-range hunter is also fairly prevalent on the ladder too, and it's sometimes possible to draw more than 2 cards from an Eaglehorn bow if you've procced a trap or 2. And we also have Miracle Rogue, which many people put kind of in the middle of the tier list, which also does clearly fall prey to Harrison, as the hero power is a weapon, and they do play things like Deadly Poison. And finally we have N'Zoth Paladin, although fallen from its glory a little bit, still sees a little bit of play here and there, and Harrisoning an Ashbringer or a True Silver champion feels just awesome. So what popular decks on the ladder does Harrison do nothing against? That's probably the more important thing to consider. Some of the more notable decks include Tempo Mage, Zoo Warlock, and Cthulhu Druid, which are all fairly good decks right now, and Harrison does pretty much little to nothing against them, besides being a 5/4, and versus Tempo Mage and Zoo specifically, that's going to put you a little bit far behind because they play a much faster game. There's a variety of lower tier decks from non-weapon classes that Harrison similarly does nothing against, but those decks tend to see a lot less play since they are kind of just worse overall and you don't have to worry about them as much. Overall, it definitely seems like right now is a great time to have Harrison Jones in your deck as weapon classes are just rampant. So the next thing we have to consider is the kind of decks you want to put Harrison into right now and what cards you should take out to replace with Harrison. Generally, you want to put tech cards into more mid-rangey or control decks. Aggro decks are usually too focused on killing their opponent, so they tend to not really want incremental advantages or slower cards like Harrison. Ideally, you want to have some sort of generic mid-range creature around the 4 to 6 mana slot that you can take out for Harrison instead, but in general, you probably want to take out a reasonable mid-range card that's not central to your game plan or your win condition for whatever you're slotting in. What we can say though is that Harrison is incredibly well positioned in the meta right now, and putting him in your decks is a sure way to get a leg up on your opponents playing similar decks overall. So what are some of your favorite tech cards? Let us know in the comments below, and looks like that's going to be it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.